There's been some moves in the Central Division, and let's just say that the Blues are going to be impacted.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you about all things St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today on Locked On Blues, we're going to talk about some trades that went down with 3 different trades involving 3 different Central Division teams. I know what you're thinking. Was it Mitch Marner? No, it was not. He is still out there. Anyways, did the Blues need a star? I know, great segue into that one, Hales. And then finally, the Blues do have the 19th overall pick. And now I actually think differently about it. So we're going to talk more about the pick and about the star power, but we need to address what is going on in the NHL. And that is some trades that went down. This all began, honestly, last Thursday, June 12th. I know this doesn't impact us per se, even though I did want him for the Blues. However, whatever, the Ducks acquired Chris Kreider and a 4th round pick in the 2025 draft from the Rangers. Honestly, I was a little bit bummed about that one because I did want him. However, whatever, we don't need another forward. Okay, anyways, let's move on to the things that actually impact us here in the Central. The Chicago Blackhawks acquired defenseman Ryan Mass and a 7th round pick in the 2025 draft. Honestly, and this was with the Bruins. Honestly, the way that I see this, it wasn't a huge, in my opinion, huge move. But again, the Blackhawks are adding to their depth, and the Bruins, we saw their kind of debacle. Is that a nice way to put it? Yeah, they kind of collapsed, right? So we saw that. Anywho, this is where it gets interesting. The Nashville Predators acquired forward Eric Holla from the New Jersey Devils for defenseman. And again, this is a prospect, right? Jeremy Hansel and a 4th round pick in the 2025 draft. Whoa. That is a big one for Nashville. And Nashville, let's be so for real, they need it. They were a team that had a lot of high expectations last season, and I called it, and I said that they were not going to be a good hockey team. And guess what? They were not a good hockey team. Was anybody surprised? Maybe Nashville fans, not me. And then today, because today is June 19th, the Seattle Kraken acquire forward Mason Marchment from the Dallas Stars for a 3rd round pick in the 2026 NHL draft. And the Stars has previously acquired a 4th round pick in the 2025 draft. Whoa, I know. Marchment to the Kraken. Wow. I did not see that one coming. He did have 1 year remaining on a 4-year, $18 million contract, which if you do the math, it's $4.5 million AAV. 30 years old, forward. He had 47 points, 22 goals, 25 assists, and 62 regular season games for the Stars this season. He had 5 points, 1 goal, 4 assists in the 18 games of the playoffs, which obviously we know how that ended for Dallas. Anywho, Kraken's general manager said, I think Mason has a unique combination of size, skill, and strength. He works well down in the corners and around the net. He did sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs as an undrafted free agent in March 17th, St. Paddy's Day, 2018. He has 189 points, 76 goals, 113 assists, and 302 career games for the Maple Leafs, Panthers, and Stars. And 19 points, 11 goals, 8 assists, and 59 playoff games. And a general manager went on to say he's been in 3 conference finals in a row. He knows the intensity of playoff hockey. So again, this is something that it's going to be interesting for the West as a whole. However, for the Central, it's not going to impact us, so I'm fine. Anyways, let's talk about Eric Holla, who was traded to the Predators, because this was really interesting. So he's 34 years old. Obviously, again, I'm not trying to say that he's old, but I just don't want the Blues to go after maybe players of that age, whatever. Anyways, he will enter the final season of his 3-year, $9.45 million contract, which comes out to about $3.15 million AAV. And he signed with the Devils on June 23rd, 2023, 10 days after he was traded to New Jersey by the Bruins. He returns to Nashville, where he did have 21 points, 9 goals, 12 assists in 51 games during the 2020-21 season. Anywho, Barry Trotz spoke about this one, Predators general manager, have to get used to that and not him with the Islanders. Anyways, we are excited to have Eric join our team today. He brings great flexibility to our roster with the ability to play up and down the lineup in a variety of different roles. We are confident that he will be able to play alongside our younger players, helping to accelerate their development. He had 97 points, 41 goals, 56 assists in 225 regular season games for the Devils, and 7 points, 4 goals, 3 assists in his 17 playoff games. He averaged about a little bit over 10 minutes of ice time for Finland at the Four Nations face-off. He was a 7th round pick, 182, and of course, what other kind of team? Oh, then the Central to the Minnesota Wild in the 2009 NHL draft. So again, it was really interesting, right? Wow. Now, while these moves are moves that maybe not I wouldn't necessarily make for the Blues, it is interesting to see that the Central teams are kind of the ones who are, making things happen right now. If they're trading away players, acquiring players, they're being aggressive. When I look at the Blues, a part of me just thinks, and I'm sure that you're doing this as well, are we just sitting still while the Central gets stronger? Because all I hear is crickets, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. I feel a little bit nervous about this offseason as a whole. So let's just be realistic. Do you feel like the Blues are sitting still? I'm going to say right now, no, but I could understand why you might feel that way. The only thing that I feel like the Blues are sitting still on is giving that extension to Joel Hofer. However, I do understand that both Hofer and the team most likely want to wait just to see what happens during free agency and if he gets any offers. And I understand that. In terms of everything else, in terms of trades, I don't know if it would be worth it without throwing in a draft pick from this year's draft, right? Or acquiring one or try to move up. I don't know. And we're going to talk about that later in the episode. But as of today, I understand why some things are going down. We are only now 8 days away from the draft. It is creeping up. It is soon. It's a week from tomorrow. I thought today was Friday. It's a week from tomorrow. So it is soon, which is why, as I previously stated, that this is a critical time for the Blues. This is a critical time for all NHL teams. But when I see over the course of the past week 3 different trades, which involve 3 teams from the Central, there is a part of me that's a little bit apprehensive, and I just need to keep myself in check and not freak out because I'm not a general manager and my name is not Doug Armstrong or Alexander Steen. I love Steener, but I get a little bit nervous this time. All right. Do the Blues need a star or Nah, I don't know. Well, do I know? Maybe. We'll talk about it. But first, wonderful pistachios. It's funny, I was actually in the grocery store and I saw wonderful pistachios and then I saw it on a billboard. So it is everywhere now. You probably know what it is because it is the snack that's both delicious and nutritious. And you can crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. Wonderful pistachios is the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk on a road trip or hey, I just need a quick protein boost. They're always my go to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Let's be unrealistic for the next 5 minutes, and I'm going to explain to you why there are certain players that I would love to get. And one of them is being hometown kid himself, Clayton Keller. I know, I know. Well, he does have 3 years left on his contract. Um, but let me kind of talk to you about why I think he would be good. St. Louis native, he plays with speed, obviously the scoring, and he would be a top 6, which the Blues kind of lack. I'm not trying to put any player down, but I feel like they just need a little bit more emphasis on that second line, right? He's a left winger or center, so you could put him in that 2C position, right? Now, let's be so for real. You would probably have to give up a first rounder, a top prospect, like a Snuggie, or a roster player like a Cairo, right? Again, I know that's unrealistic, and I said that for a minute, but on this podcast, I think it's actually kind of cool that I'm able to tell you about a player that I would want on this team, and maybe you would comment down below my everydayers and let me know, hey, Haley, there's actually a player that fits what you're describing, but is achievable for the Blues. I have to study all these prospects. I do my very best when it comes to knowing as much as I can know, but I watch Blues hockey. I watch another team a lot. And then I'm just watching random games of the WHL. I know, random. I know. So that is where we can have some fun. And I feel like if we're not having fun on this podcast, where we're giving our hypotheticals or dream case scenarios, then what are we doing? I don't want this podcast to ever be boring. I want this to be entertaining and factual. So yeah, do I want the hometown guy on our team? Absolutely. I say the same thing about Matthew Tkachuk and Brady Tkachuk. And I got a lot of backlash on social media about that one, about how none of those guys would want to play here. And let me tell you this, they would love to represent the Blues and wear the blue note here. I made a tweet, okay? The tweet kind of blew up. It has 14,000 impressions. I said, Brady or Matthew, please come to St. Louis and make Keith happy. And some guy named Michael said, it's not St. Louis, but it looks like Brady would like to get traded to a true contender. Michael. Michael's from St. Louis. The Blues are a contender, Michael. Come on now. Oh, man. Somebody then said Kyrie plus a first for Brady. I think it might be more than that. Someone said both should come here. That'd be cool. I don't know why people don't like Brady that much. It's a lot of Brady hating, which is kind of Somebody also said Armstrong has given out the worst contracts possible to mediocre players, and the team is in cap HE double hockey sticks. Okay, well, valid. But the point is that sometimes we're allowed to have fun. We're allowed to express that we want some players. And yes, I said specifically, do the Blues need a star player? Because I'm going to continue on with the players that I have on my list because I think that this is interesting. We have Trevor Zegras. I know. He has 2 years left on his contract, about 5.75 AAV. He's a creative guy, right? He's still young, he's fast, and here is the thing. He is injury prone. Like, we're not going to deny that one. And like, not like injury prone, but he does get injured a good amount. Like, again, like I'm not trying to that's not good. I don't like that. But he is a great player on the ice. His relationship with the Ducks is interesting from my perspective, right? And I've been inside locker rooms, obviously, with things that I do besides this podcast. I don't know if I ever picked up on their relationship being strained, but I do have inside information about some of his friends, the relationships that he has, who are on different teams, and it's just interesting. Anyways, you would probably have to give up a prospective first rounder and maybe like a mid-roster type of player. We have another guy, and this is not one that I want, but one that I had to add to the list. Mitch Marner. He is this is regular season Mitch Marner. He's a great playmaker, okay? He boosts the power play. He's an instant one winger, right? On the first line, you compare him next to Thomas and maybe Bougie. We'll see. I don't know if I want him on the team. I don't. It's going to be a lot of money. The Blues don't have that money. So that being said, I am going to pass on that one. Then we have Patrick Lane, and I like Patrick Lane a lot, but I know that this won't work in theory because he is a high risk reward sniper. And I think at the end of the day, he has lower trade value. So again, who knows what's going to happen with him? Leon Draisaitl, that's another name. Again, I'm dreaming because the money will not be there. I don't know. Like Brady Tkachuk, I mean, you would have to. I mean, if you got okay, hold on. Going back on Leon Draisaitl, like it would cost the entire team everything. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I am actually dumbfounded right now on what this team should do. I mean, I know that at the end of the day, right, there's contracts and I get it. Oh, wait, no, Leon signed he signed an extension, right? I'm pretty sure he signed an extension now that I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, didn't he sign? Oh, wait. Yeah, no, he signed an extension this year. Okay. I had in my notes, this is before he did that. I had a dream list. Okay. Disregard what I said. I would still love for him to come here, but yeah, no, that's not happening. McDavid's like the only option on the Oilers besides like Evan Bouchard. But going back to my initial statement, yeah, I'm going to dream big. Yeah, it's going to be delusional. No, I don't care. I don't know if the Blues need a star player. I think they need help defensively. Not that many star defensemen right now, honestly, but Ivan Provorov is still an option. Like, I'm just throwing out names that could potentially be a candidate for this team, right? And this is where my conversation about the 19th overall pick comes in. I don't think the Blues are going to draft anybody in the first round. I sincerely think they're going to put together a package and they're going to get rid of that 19th overall pick. I'm going to tell you why. But before I do so, make sure to like and subscribe to Locked On Blues here on YouTube at Locked On Blues, on Twitter at Locked On Blues, or if you want to follow my own Twitter at Haley T. Simon, same as my Instagram, make sure to do that. I talk all things Blues. I vent about the Blues. I talk about how much I miss Blues hockey, because I do. We honestly are deprived right now of Blues hockey when we need it the most. I'm thinking about the Olympics. Like, there's a lot of things on my mind, but the number one thing on my mind right now is how the Blues can get back to the playoffs and get out of that first round and try to win the cup again. That's where my mind is at. So I want to know where your mind is at, because if so, your mind is probably at the draft. Ooh, that segue, baby. Woo. And right now, I just have a really difficult time believing that the Blues are going to keep their 19th overall pick. Why is that? Let me explain. Thank you for asking. If you put that 19th overall pick in a package for maybe a team like the Bruins, who are some really bad hockey teams. I'm not going to say the Islanders because they got the first overall, which they shouldn't. But again, like the Flyers, like there's a lot of bad teams that would really benefit, like Utah, even Nashville would benefit. I don't even want to say San Jose because they have so many good prospects. Oh, the Sabres. I always forget about the Sabres. That's how irrelevant they are. No offense to the Buffalo Sabres, but like I truly forget about the team. But I feel like those kind of teams would benefit. I do. And I feel like if you put together the right package, they would take it. I don't know if this doesn't sound crazy, but Cam York from the Philadelphia Flyers, and I know, oh, Haley, it's the two teams that you cover. I know, but I try to avoid it, okay? I do. I try to avoid bringing up the Flyers because I cover them. I cover the Blues. But let's be so honest right now. Cam York would be a great, great, great player for the Flyers. From the Flyers to the Blues, because he did not play well with the Flyers at all this season. Which again, I listen. With Cam York being a pending restricted free agent, I think, honestly, I think that this guy might want to come here to St. Louis. I do. And if he does, and remember when I said I had inside information, I think Trevor Zegras would come here too, because they're best friends. And the Blues need help defensively, and York has like the ability, but he was under John Tortorella for such a long time. And it just was messy. Like, I was obviously in that locker room. I know what went down. Not everything, but I knew how the vibes were. And the players didn't really seem happy a lot. So that could be a possibility. Notice how these are all former, like, Flyers. Like, Ivan Provorov, Cam York. Like, that's what this team does. I mean, hey, a goalie that they once had just won the Stanley Cup and Bob. But I feel like a lot of players, though, also play for a lot of teams these days, and they don't just stick to one team. So, like, it is what it is. But that could be a really interesting. And he would be good on the second pair. I'd put him on the second pair again. I'm just going with the mindset that Justin Folk and Nick Leddy will be gone, hopefully. Big hopefully. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow as we talk more things. Also, for those that don't know, I'm having a little bit of a hard time talking. Bit of a dental issue going on at the moment, so I'm going to get that fixed in the morning. But I should sound back to normal by tomorrow's episode. So I'll talk to you then. And like always, let's go Blues.